The new Homeland Security prison named the Cornhusker Clink is still generating plenty of reaction. It was about this time yesterday the governor announced plans for the facility. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Mastery.
And I'm Jacqueline Fernandez. The facility in McCook, it's about a 4.5-hour drive southwest of Omaha, and it will house people taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Our Dave Zavolinsky at the Alert Desk with the latest on this for us now. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Jacqueline and Brian, still a big talker around this part of the country. The facility going to be using that existing minimum security work ethic camp in McCook. We're told the center can house 200 inmates, but they're going to make room for closer to 300. Right now, 186 inmates are there, and they will be moved to different centers. Along with the facility, we're told about 20 Nebraska National Guard soldiers will provide clerical, administrative, and logistical support to Nebraska-based ICE officials and enforcing immigration laws. A new reaction coming in from our state's elected officials, including from Nebraska Congressman Adrian Smith, saying in part, quote, recent arrests in Nebraska of violent gang leaders wanted in El Salvador have shown President Biden's failure to address the border crisis have impacted more than just border communities. The initial information provided about the McCook facility appears to support these efforts, and I look forward to learning more about this project, end quote. It's still unclear what kind of timeline to expect for all of these changes. We're also working to get answers about exactly where those currently housed at the McCook facility will go. Much more on this developing story coming up in our next newscast, live at 5. Reporting from the Alert Desk, I'm Dave Zavolinsky.
Yeah, certainly the talk of the town.